Hello everyone, it's Queen of the Reynolds, and I'm here today to give you a song analysis of Love Like You from Steven Universe. This song has baffled us from day one. The first time we heard it was as an instrumental, and then we actually got the lyrics later on, and it always came out in snippets, verse by verse. And we were all kind of baffled on what it meant, because it wasn't anything that was in kind of context to anything we had seen on screen. And then the episode Bubbled came out, and that kind of definitely took us a huge step closer to working out what the song is about. So I'm going to take you through analysis of the lyrics, and to give you my take on what I think the song is about. Fun fact, at the timing of this video, tomorrow will be Steven's canon birthday. Yeah, we had a Steven birthday episode ages ago, but this is technically the day. August 15th, or August 16th for Australians, because we're one day ahead of you. Also, it'll be the birthday of Rebecca Sugar's brother, background artist, and main inspiration for Steven himself, Steven Sugar. Anyway, happy birthday to both Steven and Steve. Let's get back on to the analysis. Alright, I should start by saying right now we all kind of had ideas on which character was singing it, even though it's Rebecca Sugar who's singing it. And I think a lot of us have had the idea that it was Rose Quartz singing it. And that's my belief too. What she was singing about, who she was singing about, whom she was singing about kind of baffled us. But I think since Bubbled came out, the episode Bubbled, when the whole song is performed in the background after Steven finds out about the fact that his mother shattered Pink Diamond, I think that clues us in as to what it's about. And also looking on Rose's character, I can kind of come to some sort of conclusion that this is Rose, if she had some sort of consciousness in Steven's head, which she actually might, we don't know. There may be a little piece of Rose that can see through Steven's eyes that Steven doesn't know about. This song is a reflection as her life as Steven and as a half human. Also a kind of reflection on what people think of her. Now, let's go through the lyrics and let's dig deeper. Of course, there are some things in this that I will not be able to understand fully yet, because I think some of them are actually going to clue us into what we might see in the future, and I can only guess. I have a pimple right there. Jeez. I'm not even trying today. So let's just go through the first verse. If I could begin to be half of what you think of me, I could do about anything. I could even learn how to love. I don't think I was really trying. I think Steven, up until Bismuth, and as well as Bubbled, I think he kind of had some kind of thought of his mother as this kind of stature of grace and beauty and everything beautiful with grade and goodness and cupcakes. And I think, he was proud to try and live up to that legacy, that he believed that Rose was everything good and great. He may have found it hard, but I think he found it worthwhile. And Steven probably still thinks that at some point now, but I think now his thoughts are also kind of a bit more muddled, and as he kind of comes to the realization of what he thinks about her now, and how, with the realization that his mother shattered Pink Diamond, although I find it hard to believe that Rose Quartz at 8 feet and Pink Diamond, who was likely the size of the diamonds, which is giant, could shatter her, although I think the Temple Lady could have. That's a theory for another day. I think this is her saying, if I could be as good as you think I am, I could learn how to love. I would have been able to learn how to love. I think that's a recurring theme, I could even learn how to love. If I were that good, I could learn how to love. I think there's a reoccurring theme in the lyrics that she almost is saying, that kind of self-deprecatingly, that she couldn't learn how to love. She tried to wrap her head around it. She gave she tried to experience love, and maybe she never really understood it. And she tried to get closer. I mean, it's not like James can't love. We know Garnet definitely, Ruby and Sapphire definitely love each other. But Rose Quartz might have not been able to wrap her head around it for whatever reason. And I think the song actually has a lot of reflection for the singer, which is, I'm believing, Rose. It's in the context of Rose. It has a lot of deprecation in it, like self-deprecation in it, not humorously. Well, not well. Does self-deprecation mean like have a means like a humorous self-damning? There's a kind of recurring theme of the singer putting themselves down in face of all the good that they've done. Anyway, so that's what I think that first line means. If I could have been anything half of what you think of me, I could have learned how to love, but I'm not that good. Second lyric. When I see the way you act, wondering when I'm coming back, I could do about anything. I could even learn how to love like you. Thinky here. I'm not actually completely sure what this means. I don't know. Do they actually? I don't know if that literally means that they're wondering when Rose will come back. I haven't really got that thought yet. And even sometimes when it was sung in public once, it wasn't wondering when, it's wondering if I'm coming back. Or it's vice versa. I can't remember. So I think that one's a little unanswered, but I think that goes back on what was said the first time. If I'm the way you act would almost seem like I knew how to love. That's as far as I can really think on that one in particular. I always thought I might be bad now. I'm sure that it's true, 'cause I think you're so good, and I'm nothing like you. This one's, I think, is very blaringly obvious again. Rose kind of always had the thought in the back of her head that she was bad, and because, I don't know, maybe it's because she kind of killed Pink Diamond, or the fact that she wasn't human was something that she took, or maybe she just had, I don't know. But she always kind of thought maybe, but after seeing how Steven is, this pure little innocent cupcake we must protect, it's like, oh god, no, I'm terrible, because you are so good, and I'm nothing compared to you. I don't know, it's interesting, because he's always seen times Steven try and compare himself, try to believe that he's got to live up to this Rose Quartz legacy, and she's almost saying, oh, I'm nothing like you, you are so much better. Look at you go, I just adore you, I wish that I knew what makes you think I'm so special. This is almost why it drove me to believe that it was almost like she was able to see through Steven's eyes, or she's watching over him, or whatever. Watching what Steven does, like this, she just feels this pure happiness and joy. It's seeing everything her son does, and technically herself do. And then you kind of see him kind of like how everyone idolizes, even himself. He's like, she doesn't understand why people love her so much, idolize her so much. She's going, I don't know why. Some of the stuff that maybe even when how Pearl idolizes or whatnot, maybe she kind of doesn't understand. Don't put me on such a high pedestal here, guys. I think that's interesting, that line, because I think that there's a lot of, she knows that people put her on a pedestal and she doesn't understand why so much, because in her head she doesn't feel like she deserves it. There's a lot of recurring theme of the character, who I believe is her, just going, not understanding why people adore her so much, or maybe that she sees why she sees it and it's justified to her, but she's still like, I don't get it. I'm not good enough. And I think again, it's why I think there's a deep insecurity with her, that she's not human, almost. Like, I think she sees humans and she absolutely idolizes humans and she loves them, and, like, again, because she's aspiring to love, she almost aspires to be human. I mean, Stephen, her creation, her rebirth into Stephen seems very deliberate. She made a womb, okay? You don't go making a womb unless you plan to have a baby. I think she knew what she was doing, and it was part of some sort of decision that she was going to become a human. And, I mean, even Pearl's line in Bismuth when she goes, we can't always understand why Rose did the things we do, but we gotta respect them and stuff. I think that kind of goes again on that Stephen was a deliberate plan. If I could begin to do something that does right by you, I would do about anything. I would even learn how to love. I haven't warmed up. I think this goes on to what Rose left behind for Stephen. Maybe she feels like looking at what Stephen, the legacy that Rose has left behind, and that Stephen struggles to get to the level of, or even understand if he wants to be on that level, or who he is and whatever. She feels like she actually hasn't done anything right by him, because she's left the legacy of someone she doesn't regard herself. She doesn't regard very highly, by the sound of it. And he's like, I've left you nothing but a mess. I would do anything to do right by you. I would even learn how to love somehow. When I see the way you look, shaken by how long it took, I could do about anything. I could even learn how to love like you. Love me like you. This one is probably the most hardest to get my head wrapped around, because I think this one has some sort of allusion to the future. Maybe somehow Stephen will confront Rose somehow or some way, or Rose will somehow come to some realization through some way I don't understand yet, that she's going to accept who she is. So maybe accepting, I'm not really sure what it means fully, like maybe she'll come to some sort of acceptance of herself somehow. I don't know, maybe she's like shaken by how long it took. That's how long it took to love, shaken by how long it took to learn to love. How long it took to kind of accept. I don't really know. This kind of has a lot of entails of the future. It could also be the time when Stephen finally works out what Rose's legacy means for him, how to balance the legacy of Rose Quartz and also the legacy of Stephen Quartz. I think that one has a lot of interesting hints for the future, not just for Stephen, for Rose, not just for Rose, but also for the character of Stephen. There's going to be some sort of, I feel like there's going to be some sort of facing the mirror challenge for Stephen, when he kind of has to accept who he is, who Rose Quartz is, who is himself technically. Rose Quartz will have to accept herself, so Stephen can accept herself, and Stephen's going to have to learn to accept his mother, who's also himself. Paradox. Anyway, I feel like this song is absolutely beautifully well written in the terms of how a character is seeing things. It leaves so much mystery, and yet when we finally understand it, it's like a yes, oh my god, that's brilliant. Again, props to Rebecca Sugar and also Ivy and Surushu, I think, wrote the instrumental. It's a beautiful melody, and I think there's a lot of subliminal messaging from it. So yes, please leave me comments down below about what you think of the song. What's your theory? Yeah, or you can also tweet me, or you can also Facebook me. And if you really, really, really like me, maybe you could contribute to my Patreon. I'd really like to get a new camera. I have a few series I would like to start, and I kind of need a camera with a flip screen so I'm not filming and then it looks really gross and out of focus, because that happens to me. You have no idea how many videos have gone down the drain because I videoed it out of focus. I really need a flip screen camera. Or if you want to support me, let it be a one-time thing, you could click the support this channel button. Or if you just want to give me a good old, energy boost, you could buy me a coffee at this link here. It's a link where you leave like $3, which would go into like a fund for me to go buy coffee, and that can keep me up all night writing, coming up with ideas. It's a nice little thing. Or it can, or I can use it to buy chocolate, or I can save it and, buy a car. I mean, I need one of those sooner or later. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been really interesting, and I really love these analyses. If you please leave a video request, and I love you, and